Welcome to the evidence room. You are looking at case file 9680. Our primary target for this explainer is Emily Nasrallah's classic Arabic novel, Tuyur Aylul, also known as The September Birds. I am your lead detective for this session, and I treat Cambridge past papers exactly like what they are: intricate, high-stakes crime scenes full of hidden forensic clues. Grasping the basic nuances of Lebanese village life and the seasonal emigration of its youth? Well, that's just gathering the initial suspect profiles. But translating that raw intelligence into an elite, A-star exam response, that is an entirely different forensic skill. The difference between an average B-grade summary and a top-tier mark doesn't come down to how much of the plot you've managed to memorize. It comes down to cracking the examiner's forensic code. Over the next 20 minutes, we are locking down this evidence room. We are going to break down exactly how Cambridge examiners expect you to interrogate the evidence within Tuyur Aylul, cross-examine the themes, and build an absolutely airtight, bulletproof analysis. Get your case files ready, because we are diving deep into the literal and thematic DNA of this text. The clock is officially ticking.
Here is our mission briefing and the strict investigation docket we'll be following today. First, we secure the crime scene. Second, we unpack the forensic toolkit. Third, we start interrogating the evidence. Fourth, we build the suspect profile. And finally, we lock it all down with case closed. Let's move.
Section 1. The crime scene. Let's establish the core principles and the theoretical architecture of Tuyur Aylul. Let's pin our first major piece of evidence to the board. Right here in the center, we have a complex, high-tariff Cambridge past paper question. Now look at what most candidates do when they see this. We're going to call this the Agent Alex approach. Agent Alex is a procedural rookie. Alex gathers vast mountains of physical evidence, writing a massive full-page block of descriptive facts about the villagers' daily routines, the sweeping of the courtyards, the gathering at the village square in Tuyur Aylul. It's a massive data dump. It's superficial breadth. But here's the harsh truth from the official Cambridge Examiner reports. The A-star standard demands high-level analysis and cross-topic integration. It demands a motive. When you misinterpret an examiner's command words, it acts exactly like a fingerprint match error in a real investigation. It instantly throws out your case. You might see a command word like evaluate or analyze, and instead you just hit them with describe, boom. Your marks are capped. The examiners explicitly state that top-tier candidates don't just track data. They forge cross-topic connections. They link the literal physical seasonal migration of the September birds directly to the deeper psychological and cultural themes of the youth abandoning their ancestral Lebanese village. It's not just a bird flying away. It's a forensic match to the erosion of village tradition. You have to weave that literal evidence directly into the thematic meaning. A descriptive statement says, the birds leave in autumn and it makes people sad. An evaluative argument proves exactly why Nasrallah's choice to synchronize the character's psychological longing with the bird's biological departure exposes the inescapable gravity of migration. See the difference? One is a passing glance at the crime scene, the other is a forensic reconstruction.
So, how do we secure those top-tier marking bands? The foundational academic benchmark here is evidence-based reasoning. By official definition, this is the systematic extraction of facts to establish precise definitions, causal relationships, and logical conclusions within an unfamiliar context. Let me translate that from examiner speak into detective speak. You cannot just walk into the courtroom and tell the judge the suspect is guilty. You have to show the weapon, the timeline, and the precise motive. In the context of Tuyur Aylul, instead of just making a generalized claim, like stating that characters feel suffocated by village expectations, evidence-based reasoning demands you connect their emotional state directly to Nasrallah's specific structural choices. You extract a specific quote, you establish the causal relationship between the oppressive social surveillance of the village elders and the protagonist's desperation, and then you draw a logical conclusion. You are literally logically reasoning your way through the text. It's a strict chain of custody for your thoughts. Every single claim you make must be tethered to hard, indisputable textual evidence. If you drop a bold claim without a quote or a highly specific textual reference, that evidence is inadmissible in the examiner's court. It gets thrown out and you lose the mark. It is that simple.
Section 2. The forensic toolkit. Let's look at the methodology and systematic processing required to crack this case.
To master this analytical depth, elite candidates execute what we call the deconstruct, solve, evaluate sequence. Let me paint a picture of how this usually goes horribly wrong in the interrogation room. Picture two rookies at the evidence table trying to stitch together an unassailable model response paragraph. We have Agent Alex, who, as we know, wants to overload the text block with massive chunks of textbook definitions and endless plot summaries. Then we have Agent Sam. Sam is fast-acting, loves to jump to immediate conclusions, and tries to build a direct analytical logic string to secure those high marks before the case clock runs out.
but Sam completely skips the forensic confirmation steps, entirely missing the command word constraints. Alex leans over the table and says, "Let's just list everything that happens in the autumn chapters to prove we read the book." Sam taps the clock frantically and replies, "No time. Let's just say autumn means sadness and move to the next paragraph." Both of them are going to fail the sequence. Here is the standardized 4-step sequence you must flawlessly execute to properly deconstruct any complex problem. Step 1. Identify the given information. Isolate the raw facts, the explicit command words in the prompt, and the key quotes from the passage. Step 2. Break the problem into logical steps. Do not try to solve the entire case in one massive paragraph. Dissect the question. Step 3. Solve systematically. Apply relevant literary principles with absolute clarity. And step 4. Check for reasonableness. Step back, look at your paragraph and ask, does this conclusion actually make logical sense based on the character's established motives in the broader scope of Tuyur Aylul? If Alex and Sam used this sequence, they wouldn't be fighting over plot summaries, they'd be building a conviction.
Listen closely to this direct quote pulled straight from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. "Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you." I need you to internalize this critical alert. In a high-pressure exam scenario, the clock is ticking down relentlessly. Sometimes your final evaluative conclusion might veer slightly off course. Maybe you slightly misinterpret the ending tone of a specific passage. It happens. But if you have laid out your forensic toolkit, if you have made your systematic thought process completely transparent on the page, the examiner can and will award you method marks. They are rewarding the logic string. You must make your systematic thought process visible. Document every single logical step. Explain exactly how piece of evidence A from Tuyur Aylul led you to analytical conclusion B. Leaving your working out off the page is like hiding the forensic lab report from the judge. Even if the final answer isn't absolutely perfect, a transparent, rigorous methodology proves you have the analytical skills of an elite investigator, and it will absolutely rescue your overall grade. Section 3. Interrogating the evidence. It is time to elevate this investigation through critical analysis.
We hit this exact roadblock all the time. Why do students find evaluating evidence and drawing conclusions so incredibly hard? Case file freeze. Before I break down the psychological barrier and reveal the top band paragraph structure to help you clear your upcoming Cambridge sessions, make sure your intelligence feed is secure. Take a second right now to hit subscribe to Ace the Exams @ Ace the Exams and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly forensic exam updates. Whether you are cracking cases at IGCSE, O-levels, AS, or A-levels. All right, let's get back to the interrogation room. The fundamental reason candidates freeze on evaluation is that evaluation isn't just pointing at a quote pinned to the wall. It is weighing its significance. It's the cross-examination. Our agents Alex and Sam hit an unexpected roadblock mid-paragraph because their evidence links simply collapsed under cross-examination. They had a quote, but they didn't know how to anchor it. This is where I step in, with a structural framework, the Peel matrix. Point, evidence, explain, link. You have to anchor your raw data to your analysis flawlessly. Top-scoring candidates seamlessly evaluate alternatives. They don't just passively accept the plot. They look at the traditional village hierarchy in Tuyur Aylul, and they actively argue with it. They ask, is this tradition acting as a protective shield, or is it a psychological prison? Evaluating means you are actively judging the weight, the bias, and the ultimate impact of the evidence provided.
Let's help Alex and Sam rewrite that response out loud, line by line, to build a completely bulletproof logic string using this actionable checklist. First, you absolutely must question assumptions. What is the text taking for granted? In Tuyur Aylul, don't just blindly assume emigration is purely a tragedy. Question it. Is it also depicted as a necessary, unavoidable evolution? Second, consider alternative perspectives. How does the older generation's view of the departing youth clash entirely with the young protagonist's desperate need for personal freedom? You have to play the tape from both sides. Third, identify evidence limitations. Is a specific character's perspective biased, naive, or clouded by heavy nostalgia? If a character describes the village as an idyllic paradise, evaluate the limitation of that statement against the harsh reality of their economic poverty. Finally, evaluate the effect on conclusions. Challenge these limitations aggressively. When Alex and Sam finally do this, their paragraph transforms. They rewrite it to say, while the older generation views the village as a cultural sanctuary, Nasrallah uses the suffocating imagery of the closed community to reveal how this very sanctuary functions as a cage for the ambitious youth. Boom! That is a perfectly balanced, bulletproof block of text. Running your evidence through this checklist instantly elevates your answer from a simple descriptive summary to the absolute highest assessment tiers. Section 4. The Suspect Profile. It's time to examine the counterfeit evidence and look at principal examiner warnings.
I am handing the investigation files over to you for a live forensic check.
Let's step into the interactive viewer evidence room and deconstruct the top 3 fatal mistakes candidates consistently make. Mistake number 1, forgetting to include the proper format. Here is challenge 1 for you, the visual clue scan. Imagine a complex passage from the novel flashing on your screen right now. You have a 60-second countdown timer. What is the highest yielding core trend? It's the emotional shift from the beginning of the passage to the end. If you forget to format your answer to address that shift because the command word explicitly asked you to trace the development, you lose. Mistake number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation. Here is challenge 2, identify the counterfeit answer. Look at this flawed, medium-tier sample student sentence. The birds leave in September and the people are sad, which is a big theme. Did you spot the false logic and descriptive fluff? I'm taking my digital marker and isolating the discrepancy right now. It entirely lacks precise terminology and clear annotation. Under the pressure of the ticking clock, candidates hemorrhage easy marks because their presentation is a mess. No clear paragraph breaks, no distinct headings. The examiner simply cannot follow the logic string. And mistake number 3, providing answers not specific to the given context. This is the ultimate booby trap. Memorizing a generic textbook summary of Emily Nasrallah's themes and blindly pasting it onto the exam paper, regardless of the specific excerpt in front of you, is academic suicide. Examiners call this out every single year. You cannot bring a pre-written confession to a brand new crime scene. Your answer must be forensically tailored exactly to the parameters of the prompt.
Before we move to lock in our final strategy, I'm dropping a quick, tactical memory trick to help you keep your facts straight in the interrogation room. Creating a mnemonic using the first letters of key analytical terms is the single best way to securely anchor proper formatting terminology in your mind on exam day. Turn a complex paragraph matrix like PEEL, point, evidence, explain, link, into a simple, memorable anchor. Or create one for the core themes of Tuyur Aylul: migration, identity, tradition, gender roles. Make it MITG, whatever works for your specific brain wiring. Having a mnemonic ensures that when the adrenaline spikes and the exam clock is relentlessly ticking down, you never lose your structural blueprint. You just recall the code, and your entire forensic methodology floods right back.
Section 5, Case Closed. Let's execute the final strategy audit.
Agent Alex and Agent Sam have finally compiled their high-scoring text block, and we are officially confirming a 100% case resolution score on the board. But before you submit your unassailable model response to the judge, meaning your examiner, you absolutely must run this final evidence audit. This is your strict presentation convention checklist. First, proper headings and clear paragraphing. Are you signposting your arguments so clearly that the examiner can skim and immediately see the bones of your logic? Second, correct terminology. Are you using precise high-level Arabic literary vocabulary when discussing the subtlest stylistic choices in Tuyur Aylul? Do not just say word choices, use the proper forensic terms like diction, imagery, and metaphor. Third, appropriate formats. Does the macro structure of your essay perfectly mirror the command words in the prompt? If they asked for a deep evaluation, did you actually evaluate or did you accidentally slip back into describing? And fourth, clear annotation and evidence linkage. Is your quote fully integrated into your analytical sentence, or is it just awkwardly dropped in without context? This audit is your mandatory final pass. It guarantees your exam presentation perfectly matches examiner logic. You must master the 3-step question scan for decoding, manage your clock budget allocation for timing, and run this exact final evidence audit before you put your pen down.
Our investigation framework for today is officially complete, but your work as an elite Cambridge detective is just beginning. Your next imperative is to take this rigorous forensic analytical structure and apply it directly to actual past papers. So I will leave you with this final cross-examination. When you open Tuyur Aylul tomorrow, which specific character's assumptions will you challenge first to uncover a deeper A-star level insight? Before you close this case file, I need you to hit subscribe to Ace the Exams @handle Ace the Exams, click that notification bell so you are fully prepped for our weekly grade masterclasses, and drop a comment below right now. Tell me exactly which Cambridge subject and level, whether it's IGCSE, O-Level, AS, or A-Level, you are preparing to conquer next. Keep your investigative instincts sharp, keep critically engaging with the text, and I will see you in the next explainer. Case closed.